EA, arguably the most hated company in the world. Now, what does EA do when they are given the task to make a third Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare game? They mess it up. But I'm here to tell you that it's actually not that bad of a game, and that it's overhated. Now, it's been 3 years since a Plants vs. Zombies game has been released, and Garden Warfare 2 was arguably a masterpiece. So how would they one-up this beautiful game? The answer is they wouldn't. But if you look at the reviews, it shows a bunch of players who have loved the game, but thinks the game has been abandoned by the developers. It's cause it kinda did. And it hasn't been updated since like a year ago maybe. And another thing is, EA tends to have this little thing in their games. But in this game it's a bit different because unlike most EA games, pay to win isn't as major. I mean, like, there's a lot more, and I mean like a lot more, than in Garden Warfare 2, but I don't think it ruins the experience. Now, I will be doing a deep dive on everything in this game and what makes it good and overhated. Remember these characters? Well, this is them now. And remember these cool variants? Well, they're not there anymore, and now they're just cosmetic. And there is sprinting, which is a little bit weird, but you get used to after a while. And there are a bunch of new characters. First, we got Nightcap. Nightcap is way too good of a plant. It's probably the best plant in the game. Even though it has a low amount of health, it makes up for it in damage. The first ability that Nightcap has is called Casting Shadows, and it hides your teammates and slows down enemies that are in this little dome. The second ability is called Fung Fu, which makes Nightcap go in a circle and really fast, and does a lot of damage to its enemies. The final ability for Nightcap is Shadow Sneak, which allows you to disappear and move around, and is used to get out of sticky situations. Next up, we got Snapdragon. Snapdragon shoots fire out of its mouth, and it's kinda like a Chomper-like character, except instead of eating zombies, he sets them on fire. The first ability that Snapdragon has is Swoop Slam, which makes you fly up in the air, and then slam into enemies doing high amounts of damage. The second ability is Blue Blaze, that launches a blue fireball that tracks the enemy, but is very slow. And the final ability for Snapdragon is Blazing Trail, which just makes a fire trail. Overall, I didn't use Snapdragon that much. After that, we got Oak and Acorn. Yep, we got two characters in one. Kinda like the Imp from the second Plants vs. Zombies game, where one of the ability changes Oak into Acorn, which is stronger and beefier. So let's start with Acorn. Acorn has a low amount of health, but is in the defense class. The first of the two abilities is Sap Trap, which shoots a sticky explosive, then clicking left click will detonate it. The second ability is Acorn Dash, which moves you very quickly in one direction, kind of like the Jet Dash in Valorant. Then, using the ability Invoke Oak, you become Oak. Oak is way too good for this game. He's OP. Unlike Acorn, he has a bunch of health and high amounts of damage. And unlike the Imp, you are not on a timer. You can switch back to Acorn whenever you want, but you can stay Oak permanently, which is crazy. The first of the two abilities is Super Sap Trap, which is like Sap Trap, but it does way more damage. And the second ability is a giant rolling log that damages enemies when hit. And the final plant we got is Wildflower. Wildflower you will have to buy from Rux, which we'll talk about a bit later, and you can buy him for 50,000 coins. The first ability is Wildlife, and it plants your next respawn point with a flower pot where you're standing. The second ability is Weed Out, and it's kind of like a creeper from Minecraft, but you're allowed to control it, and it will explode on demand. And finally for Wildflower is Bloom Bloom, which shoots an explosive flower that deals a lot of damage. Now moving on to the zombies, we got 80s Action Hero. 80s Action Hero is probably my new favorite zombie character. The first ability is Dynamite Dodge, and it drops the explosive and moves you in any direction you want. The second ability is Rocket Ride, which makes you fly into the air, then deal high amounts of damage. The problem is you can't move that much when you're using it. And the third ability is Can't Miss Isle, which shoots a homing rocket that tracks the nearest enemy. I probably use this character the most out of all the zombies. Then we got Electric Slide. Electric Slide shoots electricity out of their hands and has some weird abilities like Funky Bouncer, which pushes your enemies away, and Out of Fight, which makes you invincible but you can't shoot anyone. The final ability is called Disco Tornado, which just makes it tornado that you can expand when you want. After that we got Space Cadet and Space Station. Space Cadet is interesting because it's like Oak and Acorn, which can transform into an even more powerful form of themselves. So the first of two abilities for Space Cadet is Gravity Smash, which launches you up in the air and then launches you down, dealing a high amount of damage. The second ability is Big Bang Beam, which fires a laser after being charged up. And the third ability switches to Space Station, which also has two abilities, which are Space Force, which makes your abilities and fire rate faster, and the second one is called Crater Maker, which flies you up and deals a high amount of damage from above with a laser. Then we got Wizard, which you can buy for 50,000 coins again, and shoots Wizard's stuff out of its Wizard Wand, and has three abilities, the first of which is Zalir, which throws a potion and makes your teammate invincible, and enemies not be able to run or jump. The second ability is Spell Disaster, which summons missiles that target enemies. And the final ability for Wizard is Co-Star, which grants an enemy armor and extra damage. I did not use this guy very much. I ain't no support guy. And finally, we got TV Head, which you can also buy for 50,000 coins. And it's the exact same as Wildflower. It's literally nothing's different. It's just the zombie version. All the abilities are same, there's literally no difference other than the name and appearance. And now with all the characters done, we can finally get to the Neighborville. The Neighborville is the lobby of the game. The first thing you may notice is that there's other people in your game. Yeah, the lobby's public for everyone, which is cool, but voice chat's also on, so the first thing I did when I started playing was look at the prize place. And when I looked in it, I saw this. This is really cool. I would have never guessed that they would have like a prize map in Plants vs. Zombies, but here we are. And the really cool part about it is that you don't even have to pay for it. Yep, EA made a thing that you don't have to pay for. You can get cosmetics by spending prize bulbs, which you can get by getting XP or by doing challenges. Of course, you can buy prize bulbs too, but you don't have to in order to get a cool skin like in Fortnite or something. The next thing I saw was the Reward Otron 9000, which you can buy for 30,000 coins and get a cosmetic skin, or part of one at least. And I may be addicted to using this now, so thanks EA, you just started my gambling problem. Then I went to Ruckshop, which this is where you can buy TV Head, Wizard, and Wildflower. You can also buy ability upgrades, which I will talk about in a second. The next area is the promotion area. Unlike the last game, there are more than 5 ranks. There are now a Grandmaster, and I actually don't know how to get it because I haven't maxed the character yet. So this guy has though, and holy man, how long does that take? Anyways, the next area I visited was the XP booster, which is like the fish in Garden Warfare 2, but it costs 50,000 coins instead of stars. The other thing I visited was the gnome that can change your elimination stone. It's pretty unique and different, and you can get different ones from the same place you get the cosmetics. The last thing I visited before going to the PvP part of the area is the quest and the online multiplayer, which I'll be talking about later. So no matter which side you are, if you decide to drop down, you end up in a PvP lobby, which is a circus which has roller coasters you can go on. Don't enter the water though. You can actually go on like all the rides, which is a cool feature. There's a secret skin you can get by doing this gnome thing and the puzzle. And I'm 16, and this game was made for like 12-year-olds ish. Why'd they make every puzzle so damn hard? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I spent an hour trying to finish a puzzle, and I had to search up a tutorial. Why, EA? Why? But I got cool skins, so. And one final thing that I love is that you can pin your challenges, which shows on your screen and is a nice little addition that I used a lot. Anyways, with all the normal stuff done, let's get to what I think is the best part of the new Plants vs. Zombies game. Now, you remember the old quest in Plants vs. Zombies, which could take like 2 hours at most? Well, these quest lines are a bit shorter than that, but if you want 100% them, then it will take like 10 times as long. Now for the plants, there are 2 different quest areas, and they are both very detailed and unique in their own ways, so let's get into it. The first thing you do when you get to the town center is talk to this flower. They will ask you to get some stuff for a mind blower, but you don't have to make the mind blower. You just have to get it dripped out so you can use it. You'll have to do 3 quests to get all the drip for the mind blower, and after that you can go into the first boss. The first boss is really unique and cool in its own way. Like, they didn't have this in Garden Warfare 2. Like, look at this boss fight. It's crazy. After beating it, you get this cool hat. You could end it here for the town center, but I want 100% it. So I searched up a tutorial to get all the gnomes and diamond gnomes that you can collect. The one diamond gnome though was a puzzle, and no joke, it took over an hour long. It's so goddamn hard. Then I searched up a tutorial for it because I couldn't do it, and I did it. And now that I had all the gnomes, I could go to the gnome shrine and break in and have a fight with this gnome boss. And I got a medal for it. And there are 50 medals you have to get, which could be anything from destroying TVs to waiting 3 hours to try and get an exclusive enemy to spawn and kill it. So after getting all of those, I 100%ed it. I know it just told you that and it took like less than a minute, but it took like 10 hours to 100% it. Now let's get for the second quest for the plants. Now the second quest for the plants are in Mount Step. Mount Step has a similar plot to the other quests, but with their own little changes. Well, first you talk to this guy, and then do 3 quests to get the harmonica, then you use the harmonica to get into the boss. So I won't be talking about that, but I will be talking about the boss. The boss is this thing. The cheese will rise and you'll have to do parkour and try and shoot it. Once beating it, you can get this cool hat. And then it's the same, just getting gnomes and medals for all the quests and done. Now it's time for the zombies. Town Center Part 2. First, instead of starting here, we start here. And we don't have to get the diamond gnomes or normal gnomes if you got them for the plants. We first have to start the quest by finding out what is infecting these zombies and making them, normal. Turns out it was this fungus. Then we have to beat up Brian for this guy to give us a part for the infected zombies. When we meet Brian, we have to trash talk him and then we kill him. I don't know. We generally just kill him. Then the next quest, we have a parade and have to put up posters for the parade. Then you have to kill this pumpkin squatch, which looks very cool, by the way. After that, you steal a casket and it opens up and makes a big boom. And the final quest before the boss is to get a balloon down from an antenna. And on the way up, you have to dodge these walnuts. Wait, this looks familiar. And once you get to the top, you have to destroy these cannons. And after that, you have to light fireworks, and then zombies throw rocks at the balloon to get it down and to collect the balloon. And after that, we can make a stink bomb, which can remove the fungus. So now we can get to the boss. The boss is Bling Cap, which is really just a big nightcap. And it's actually a really cool boss. You have to deal damage until it's invulnerable, and then you have to fire a sticky bomb at him. Anyways, after that, it's just the same thing, grab collectibles and dip. Now the final quest world is in... You start at a lake and have to go to the Z-Tech factory. The first thing you have to do is find these people's leader, Dummy, who is in Dreadwood. So you have to defeat its roots. Then you go in a dreamlike state where you have to think of dumb things. Next we have to follow the smell of a cookie and dig them up. And then, wait, this is Cookie? Anyways. Then we have to fight a sunflower queen, and after that, we get a part for the boombox. The last part we need is a lullaby tape. So we need to wash the tape in a washer, and then the washer runs away, and you have to chase it until it flies away, then you kill whatever this is. It's a really weird quest. After that, we get the boombox. Now we can save Dummy. But we first have to fight the boss of this area, which is this tree, more specifically Dreadwood. You have to hit it in its eyes to deal damage. This was probably the hardest boss yet, and one of the most fun. Once defeating it, we got Dummy back, and finished the Wilding Woods. Anyways, with all the quests done, let's get to multiplayer. Now, the multiplayer is good, except for the bots. Well, this game isn't as popular as Garden Warfare 2, so I guess EA thought, oh yeah, that we should add bots to the game to keep multiplayer alive. Multiplayer is way better in Garden Warfare 2, but Battle for Neighborville, it's not unplayable. One thing I really like is the movement, because in Garden Warfare 2, the movement's a bit slow, especially if you play something like Chomper. Other than that, you can still see some characters are better than others, which makes it annoying sometimes when it comes to playing. Now, in this game, there are a few different multiplayer modes, such as Turf Takeover, Team Vanquish, and Mixed modes, which have 3 game modes inside of it, which are Gnome Bomb, Submersible, and Vanquish Confirm. There are also weekly events that have a limited game mode that switches every week. One thing I will give credit is they made almost every multiplayer map a new map that wasn't in the first 2 games. I would have liked to see if there's a few maps from those games, but other than that, I didn't hate the multiplayer, but it wasn't really good. The reason why the game failed was because of its lack of advertisement and unbalanced characters. They showed a trailer of the game on the same day they released it. There was no build up, there was no hype around the game release. They also were apparently very low and running out of money over the course of the updates. The game started out being very unbalanced. Like, Imp did barely any damage and was a glass cannon. Rose and Engineer were way more selfish characters rather than being support. Brainium Basher, which is an upgrade for Super Brains, was way too OP. And this is the big one, and it's the lack of damage drop-offs, which means mid-range characters just become snipers. Another reason why it failed was in part because there was no variant. That was everyone's favorite part of the game. Like, everyone I talked to about the Garden Warfare games say that they love the variants. So why take it away? They also kind of ruined Garden Ops, but I don't play Garden Ops, so I didn't really see a difference. Overall, the game is not bad, it's just not good. From its good story mode, to its bad decisions, to its horrible bouncing. But I think it may have been overlooked because Garden Warfare 2 is such a good game that I don't think any game that was made after it could be surpassed by it. But anyways, if you liked this video, maybe like and subscribe. Tell me if you like the longer form videos I've been trying out. Thank you to my member, Sewing Yapper 779. You can become a member by clicking the little join button at the bottom. It's only $2, so anyways, bye.